Dog Years by Melissa Yancy. The Burger family is in a big box store, one they have driven several miles out of their West LA neighborhood to find. And the cart is piled so high, Ellen has finally conceded to getting another. With their speed through the aisles and the ziggurat of toilet paper, tissue, and toothpaste now cresting over the lip, the scene is suggestive of an apocalypse. Or the late great game show Supermarket Sweep. It is odd, Ellen thinks, that the possibility of knocking rows of pure maple syrup, wrapped hams, and giant wedges of Parmesan into a cart to compete for the highest sales total ever sounded like a good time. Was it wish fulfillment for the thrifty? This one chance to buy only the most expensive, if arguably unglamorous items? Or was it the hope that all those hours spent in actual grocery stores were training days? That there would be a moment when all of that wasted time would find meaning? They are near the end of this trip, but have come to their customary paralysis at the cereal aisle. Ellen has been arguing for the regular Cheerios, which are on sale for $2.28 for an 18-ounce box. But her younger son, Zach, he prefers the peanut butter ones, which are $3.68 for a 12.25-ounce box. They have a rule about cereal in their house: no more than $2.50 per box, even for the smallest size. $2 is better, but they've never bothered to adjust for inflation. Her eyes keep drifting across the aisle to a display of melamine plates printed with blue anchors and sand-colored starfish. Summer is almost here. If she had those plates, they could have people over and she could serve what is the least troublesome thing she could serve? Prosecco, maybe, or some decent beer. They could do it if they make it easy enough. She begins to wander away from the aisle toward the display of plates and little votive holders wrapped in beachy rope, even though she promised herself on the way to the store, no melamine, no duvet covers, no scented candles. And when she leans over to look at the price, she sees the red tag instead of the white, the color that would normally give her a hit of pleasure, until she realizes that the plates are on sale because it is the end of summer, not the beginning. She knows that, of course. How can she not know that? But for a moment, it still seemed like there was time for summer. Her husband, Gordy, calls her back to the cereal. Zach's legs are getting tired, and Tyler, their 16-year-old, will be late for his guitar lesson. There is still no agreement about the Cheerios. They have considered other options, become nostalgic for Raisin Nut Bran, which has not been on sale for many years. Just get what you want, she says, less magnanimous than tired. But at moments like this, she can't help but think, Zach will live a short life, and you are going to deny him peanut butter Cheerios? But it is the principle of the thing, of living a normal life, and that includes grocery thrift. I'm still getting these, Ellen says, balancing a box of plain Cheerios on top of the cart. It will bring the per box average down, at least. This is not going in the movie montage, Gordy says. Ellen is a molecular geneticist. Gordy is a clinical geneticist. Their son, Zach, has Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, a genetic disorder. In the movie version of their lives, scientists scribble on whiteboards while kids in wheelchairs pull wheelies and give high fives. Two scientists born to find a cure, racing against the clock to save their own son. Ellen likes the moment in a movie trailer when the screen fades to black and the tinkling of piano, over which the dramatic problem has been laid, bursts open into chorus, and someone driving down a country road in a convertible throws her hands up in the summer air. "Where's my convertible?" she asks Gordy. It is Zach's birthday. He is turning 9. This year, he has not requested a trip to Magic Mountain or the safari park, but a backyard party with his friends. Ellen's job has been to select the cake. It is the Space Shuttle Endeavour, in patriotic hues. The last year, Zach may like something like this. As a joke, Tyler has bought the fat-numbered candles for 36, since Zach argues that because of his short life, his age should be treated like dog years. He gives himself 4 years for every one and shouts out, "Dog years," when they tell him he isn't old enough to do something. Ellen opens Sauvignon Blanc and the women congregate in the kitchen, drinking, while they watch the men outside on the grill. The women like to mourn at birthday parties, and the men just want to relax. She remembers when Tyler was growing up, how they would sit around and groan that their boys weren't little boys anymore. But now that she has added another dimension, a child whose health degenerates each year, the old feeling is so flat, so easy. Gordy is such a great guy, her neighbor Rosie says as they watch Gordy scrape the grill and hold court with the other men. Rosie has lived down the street for years. She knew them before they were these people. Is he? Ellen asks, sipping her wine. She can't afford to get drunk, exactly, but she would like to feel that feeling that butts up right against it. He is a great guy, but she is bothered by how often people remind her of this, the implied commentary about equivalence. He is more exuberant than she, it is true. He is still trim and his thick beard masks the age on his face. She looks tired, and by virtue of the expectations placed only on women, more unkempt and therefore less happy. But there might be something else she fears people can see manifested in their physical forms, that inside they are each telling themselves a different story, something they do not talk about or always talk around. When did you get that? Another neighbor asks, pointing to the electric chair lift that's been installed on the stairs. A few months ago, Ellen says. We wanted to get Zach used to the idea of having it there, so it's not a big deal. While he can still walk, one of the non-Duchenne mothers says, doesn't that feel defeatist? It will be worse to put it in after the first time he can't make it up the stairs, Ellen says. How did he take it? Rosie asks. Not well, Ellen says. He can't imagine he'll ever need it. I get it, says Lena. She pours herself a glass of wine. He won't have to admit it this way. He can just use it when he's ready. She turns to the other women. You can't imagine how hard it is for them to admit they can't do something they could do the week before, she says. They're boys. Oh, yes, Rosie says. Boys and men. That is why the crown molding in my living room is hung upside down. And why the water knobs on my sink are reversed, the other neighbor says. There is always someone who makes the conversation light again. Ellen has a sudden urge to take them down as far as this well goes, to squeeze the wine glass in her hand until it breaks. But she does not do that. It is her job to quit. Without that, no one will follow. People will turn away. She thought it might help to have friends who understand, but she feels like the Duchenne parents are watching her and wondering where their cure is. They volunteer and fundraise for Ellen and Gordy's research, and she can't help but think they are judging her for sitting there with a glass of wine in her hand. But in her heart, she makes the opposite case. Zach may only be able to walk for another year or two. Shouldn't she spend every moment of the good years with him that she can? Or should she wait and be there for him in the harder years? It is not a race against time. They will not cure their son. They will cure an idea of their son while her real son diminishes each day. Dr. Stain, the CEO of the medical center where she and Gordy work, is a child psychiatrist by trade. His office is more like a tech guru's than a doctor's. In the center is a large standing desk topped with 3 monitors. On the wall above, a large conference table, is a melting dollar clock, the kind of decoration Ellen imagines belongs in a college dorm room. Stain is known for TED Talks, for believing that a story is always the solution, and his stories, in Ellen's estimation, often have little medical relevance. He will tell how they arranged for a young pregnant woman to travel across the state to their medical center to give birth so that her grandmother, who lay dying 2 floors up, could hold her great-granddaughter just once. Cultivating Stain is Gordy's job. She finds the whole whimsy unsettling, but Gordy has a meeting with the dean, and so she is here instead to ask him to be a sponsor for their annual fundraiser for muscular dystrophy. It feels like begging from Peter to pay Paul, and it is. This is how the money flows from the medical center to the medical school. She begins by telling Stain how successful the past events have been, but he raises his hand to stop her. You don't have to convince me, he says. She's been told he grades people on their conversations, and she imagines the deductions he's already making. Your husband is a good man, he says. She has squeezed into a stretchy girdle and has been digging through the hamper for her only thick-strapped bra that smooths out back fat. It has managed its way to the bottom where the pilly sweaters she is not committed to discarding rest. I need a zip, she calls out to Gordy, and he comes in, one shoe on, one shoe being shimmied into as he moves across the floor. She brushes her hair in front of her shoulder and feels his hands move the zipper up and then stop. "What?" she demands. "What's going on back there?" She cranes her neck around. He smells like cologne. She has not smelled cologne on him in months. "Just hold on," he says. She feels him unzip, then re-zip and stop again, tugging. "Mom!" Zach screams from downstairs. "We're going to be late!" "I'm too fat," she says to Gordy. "I'm too fat!" "No, it's just stuck. It's a bad zipper, but maybe suck in a little." But the zipper won't budge. "I've been telling you," she yells at him as she goes to the closet, as though if he had only acknowledged the fact of her girth, she would have been transformed. She almost never wears dresses, and fundraisers are the only time she's required to doll up. "Mom!" Zach screams again. "Come on! Your mother is naked!" She screams back at him. "Naked!" She grabs her silk robe from the bathroom and Gordy stops her. "What about that?" he says. "What about what?" "That looks like a dress, like one of those rapper dresses." "You're insane," she says. "My boobs will fall out." "We'll tie it tight," he says, "or tape it underneath." It is black, it is silky, and with her gold flats and a red beaded necklace, it almost looks like something that could be worn to the Beverly Hills Hotel. She dabs at a speck of toothpaste on her chest as she gets into the car. "Why are doctors always late?" Zach says. "Zach," Tyler warns, "they're not in the mood." The patient who is being honored at the gala has just graduated from high school with honors. In the last year, he has grown an impressive mustache, and Zach and Tyler now call him Selleck, which he loves. At the Duchenne Center, the physical therapy team has recently fitted him with a new arm assist that helps him use his hands to type or bring food to his mouth. He gets food caught in the mustache all the time, but doesn't care. He has been admitted to UCLA and begins in the fall. For people who think of college as only a preparatory exercise, it probably doesn't make sense. But what Selleck has left is the life of the mind. A colleague once explained to Ellen, using a smudged equation on the back of a greasy lunch receipt, that if you assumed you would live to 80, and you chose 5 as the perceptual beginning of your life, then 20 was the perceptual halfway point. She was 35 at the time, blithely thinking she had 5 more years to a halfway point, not that it had blown by long before she even understood the cruelties of time. She would worry this thought like a hole in her pocket for years, the tear only widening the more she wiggled her fingers against it. And now it is a strange comfort, her life no longer measured by her own years. To think that even if Zach dies in his early 20s, he will already have lived half a life. She understands the logical error in that, but does not care. And a part of her still believes, whatever the math might say, that if only she could be more present, she could control its speed. Ellen and Gordy skip most of the meal, splitting up and covering the room. She has perfected the art of the leaned-in interruption. She squats, one hand on the back of the ballroom chair, trying to keep her breasts tucked in. She meets strangers, friends of friends who've been enlisted in the cause. They are in the door, and now she must sell. She must not let them leave. When dessert is finally served, the lights go down and they sit. The video is 7 minutes long, as dictated by the fundraising consultant. That is precisely the length of time required to garner emotional commitment without boredom, and the video must make the audience cry 3 times. If they fail to produce actual tears, there must be goosebumps, a prickle in the heart. There is a strict formula. It begins with a toddler at the moment of diagnosis, and then the sobering facts. It is universally fatal. There is no cure. And the progression with each passing year, the gait growing more awkward and slow, the wheelchair, the loss of hand use, the ventilators, and finally the heart, the last muscle that goes. There are stories of the parents, cradling their teenaged sons down into bed at night. And then the screen goes black. When it comes back up, it is stop motion in a busy clinic. And then Gordon and Ellie are in the lab, talking about how much has been discovered in the last 10 years, how they are close enough now that the toddler diagnosed today has real hope. The end of the video is the familiar punchline, the reveal that half the audience already knows. In comes Zach, their son. There are parents and there are researchers, and then there are Gordon and Ellen. Is there anyone in the world who could want this more? The grand prize of the night is backstage concert passes and a personal visit with Justin Bieber. Ellen sits there like a clerk at an airport foreign exchange as people bid on items, translating money into project costs. She has spent every dollar before it is raised. The tyranny of money would be as bad as the tyranny of time, except that she holds out hope that there is a great supply of it they are about to unearth. But to raise the money takes time, time that could be spent elsewhere, so the tyrannies intertwine. They are watching the second half of the third Mission Impossible movie. They don't have 2 hours of free time, so they watch the 47 minutes that remain, trying to piece together what is happening. Her son's the scene before, and Gordy is snoring on the floor, his face smashed against one of the rough couch pillows. When people ask Ellen if she has seen a movie, she shrugs. She has seen several scenes of several hundred, and she is fairly certain she's not missing anything. Gordy calls this cinemas interruptus. Pulchritude, Ellen says to Tyler. Mom, stop. Tyler says, watch the movie. It's one of those words where the meaning doesn't match the sound of the word. I'm studying for the SAT, he says. Trust me. But she is afraid Tyler is sabotaging, that he's putting off the decision that will come if he gets into the college he wants. Wait, she says, when the villain rips off his face mask. I think maybe I have seen this before. I told you, Zach says. Zach has seen far too many R-rated movies, but he has claimed dog years, and Ellen is too worn down to object. Zach, who has always had a gift for the dramatic, is finally getting to take an acting class in school, and can now add the ammunition that television and movies are research. Oh my God, Zach screams out. Oh my God! Gordy bolts up from his sleep. What? Ellen and Tyler yell back. We're supposed to bring, like, cookies or something tomorrow? It's my turn at school for the birthday month. It is 9:30 at night. In half an hour, they should all be in bed. Guess it'll be a sad birthday this year, she says. Mom, we have to, he says. We don't have anything to make. You should have told me or told Jeanette. I know, he says. My bad. He gets up from the couch and walks to the kitchen. At night, his steps are a little stiffer, and she can see his left leg is bothering him. He opens the pantry and pushes aside cans of stock and old vegetables that they will eventually donate. Look, he says triumphantly, holding up the value-sized box of cereal. We have this entire box of Cheerios that no one will eat. Great, she says. You can bring that. We can do something with it, he says, like they do with Rice Krispies. I'll Google it, Tyler says, jumping up to the computer. Gordy stumbles into the kitchen, his hair mussed and cheek red with upholstery stripes. Aren't you glad you bought those Cheerios, he says, with a dumb smile. A Dr. Stain smile. And he means it, and his everything happens for a reason well. She thinks about the perfect days. How many were there? 500? 515? And how she hadn't known then they were perfect. She tries to remember when she knew something was wrong with Zach, but there had been no singular moment. She remembers those early days now through the scrim of memory, stitched together moments of Zach, milk-drunk, and she in a kind of blissed-out exhaustion. That's what having an infant means in her memory, basking in a warm corner like a house cat, when it was not anything like that. And she knows that these days now, while Zach can still walk, will be the perfect days for her future self. She will not remember the grant applications and the broken garbage disposal and the flesh that is folding over her waistband. And yet knowing this makes almost no difference at all. Ellen is at a college fair for Tyler in a generic hotel ballroom where she can be a generic parent among strangers. At the snack table, she has found herself next to a shuffling speaker, the kind of woman who must strike up a conversation as they move sideways down the line. Ellen balances her plate of carrot sticks and cheese squares on top of her plastic cup of lemonade so she will have a hand free to eat. One of the problems of the world an engineer should have solved by now. And the shuffler is planted beside her, entering full confessional mode. I always wanted a daughter, the woman is saying. I didn't, Ellen says, which is true. I only had brothers growing up. I wasn't sure what I'd do with a girl. The woman looks her once over as though realizing this is probably so. The woman wears skinny white jeans that are snug in the rear, a chambray shirt artfully half-tucked, and a coral necklace. She is the kind who has made enormous effort not to let herself go. Ellen was never successfully hanging on. But we lose our sons, the woman continues. We have them until what? End of college, if we're lucky. After marriage, they're gone. Girls stay. This is true, Ellen says, and she has the strange urge to hug this preening creature. She wonders, in the most hideously Stain-like way, if people are actually saying things to her she needs to hear, or if she is just editing everything else out. She watches Tyler patrol the room, noticing whether he picks up brochures from out-of-state colleges. She excuses herself and trails behind him, collecting those he has missed. "Mom," he hisses, "back off." It will get harder in the coming years. Zach will be able to do less for himself. It would be easier to have Tyler at home. But a part of her wants him to go to New England, not just far away, but to a new cultural landscape, a place where he must become his own person. Of course, she would settle for San Diego or Santa Barbara, enough distance to have his own life, but only 2 hours away. Some of the admission lookbooks are thin and glossy, and others are saturated with matte hues. Students play Quidditch in one frame, build an electric car in the other. There are violinists and kids in lab coats, paint-splattered fun runs and Nobel Prize winners, and everyone is laughing, sometimes in the rain. A bearded boy stands among llamas, a bikini-clad girl swims underwater with a sea lion. Everyone is multicultural and has good teeth. It is all real, and yet in snapshots, in its omissions, it becomes a lie. Yet she loves that lie. That is exactly the problem. She loves the lies. She always has. But in lies, there is hope, and she cannot hope. She must have all the ambition, the urgency, as though there were hope, without the actual hope itself. They have promised as a family unit to make the foyer their designated dumping ground, to shed the detritus they carry and keep it from creeping past the entryway of the house. Jeanette has purchased stylish linen bins in striped shades for each of them. Hooks have been hung, a new console table that hides the mail assembled, and yet dirty shoes have mounted like a pile outside a sacred temple, and magazines threaten to block the door. There is a soccer ball and never-used rain gear and reusable grocery bags everywhere. It was brilliant, the magazine spread Jeanette brought home, the kind of home publication full of special lives like alphabetized spice racks and magical cord keepers. Today, Ellen wants to walk into stillness instead of chaos for a change. She steps along the pavers that are spaced irregularly in the gravel around the side of the house, then goes to the patio. She feels like a burglar approaching her own back door, a funny kind of familiarity, like when she leans over to kiss Gordy upside down on the couch and thinks that this is what counts for novelty in her life. She steps in through the French doors and sees the soda cans that signify her boys are here somewhere, but for a moment, she can't hear them. She wonders if she is now obligated to go to the foyer and divest herself of her junk, or if she should just put her computer in the office, her tote in the closet, her papers on the kitchen station where they use them for their nightly work. What she needs, she realizes, is a cart. She can put her things on the cart and have her cell phone, her laptop, her lab and class papers near, and then leave the cart by the door so it is all there when she's ready to leave in the morning. Her linen bin in the entry is full, but she smashes her bags on top and forces it back into the storage bench, and when she turns the corner, there is Zach, cruising down the stairs from the second floor on the motorized chair. It hums with electric life, but moves with an almost comically slow pace as the teeth in the rack and pinion engage one by one. She sees his look of surprise, as though she's caught him with the bathroom door open. "Oh, hi, Mom," he recovers, and she stands there, waiting for the seat to descend to the bottom. "I thought I'd give it a test run," he says, when he reaches the ground. He gets out and leans against the baluster, in a pose of mock relaxation that she knows is actually for balance. "Dad said maybe I should run it once in a while, like a car, for the motor's sake." "What do you think?" she says. "It's kind of funny," he says. "It reminds me of a haunted mansion in Disneyland. Maybe you can hang some creepy pictures and mirrors on this wall," he grins. They tell you about the resiliency of children. They do. But what they do not tell you before you have children of your own is what they will do to your resiliency. How on the one hand, you will see how brittle you are in relation to them, and how on the other, you will develop a resiliency that flows from them and for them, as though taking in second-hand air from their exhalations. And how, if you will ever have to be without them, you will not be put back together again. "I'm hungry," he says. "I can't take any more string cheese." "There are tater tots in the freezer," she says. She looks at her watch. 6:45. She has a deadline tomorrow morning. "I told Dad to bring home pizza." "Pepperoni?" "No, anchovies." "What? Disgusting!" "I'm your mother," she says. "You don't think I know you want pepperoni?" She's about to sneak to the office for a minute when Zach says he wants to show her something he's learned at school that week. It's kind of hilarious, he says, and she follows him into the living room. Just watch. She doesn't recognize the music at first. It sounds like science fiction, a mysterious blooming synthesizer followed by chimes. And then the heartbeat comes, a skipping pulse, and it arrives, the piano. The introduction to Chariots of Fire blares in the room. At first, she thinks something is seriously wrong. Zach is frozen in space like he's about to seize. Then she sees he is moving, running in meticulous slow motion. Tyler comes barreling down the stairs with the thunder unique to teenage boys. "Oh my God," Tyler says. "We had to do this in Mr. Dwight's class too. This is total flashback." He stands next to Zach and positions himself to race. "I can go way slower than you," he says. "Bet you can't. Let's see you try." Soon both sons are in exaggerated running poses. Zach keeps losing his balance and resets. Tyler's back leg is high in the air as though about to come around for a hurdle. "Come on, Mom, you have to do it too," Zach says. "I think not," she says. "It's a warm-up. It loosens up the mind." "They're teaching you this in school?" she asks. "What's the purpose of this exercise?" "Mom," Zach says, "not everything is science, okay?" The song is the most undeniable kind of lie, a story with no words at all. She gets up and feels ridiculous, grateful that there is no one there to see, and lunges her right leg forward, her right arm back, and pushes her left leg from the ground. It is hard to move slowly, like Tai Chi, harder than it is to move fast, and yet why should she be surprised? If she knows nothing, it should be how hard it is to bend time, how pointless it is to muscle against it. When Gordy walks in, holding the pizza box aloft with one hand, his bag in the other, we are just reaching the treacly crescendo, and mother and sons are standing, fists wild in the air, necks craning forward, and she has the stupid feeling for just a moment that she can feel the wind.